Hi everyone. I'm Jecelyn. I'm the developer advocate for the Chrome team. Some of you might have seen me before. If you do not click on close the What's New tab in DevTools that's popping out every time, if you really click on the link, you might see the blog post that I wrote or my video. Yeah. So my team focuses on debugging and testing. And so these are the tools that some of the tools that our team maintain. Chrome DevTools, Puppeteer, Chrome driver, WebDriver BiDi. These are the tools. So if you have any debugging wish list or bugs, you can come talk to me later after the talk. So today I want to talk about some of my personal browser automations experience in real life. So this is the first one. Sometimes when I write automation tests, it's just work when I test it manually, but wherever I just try to automate it, it doesn't work. And also sometimes it's that when I run the test, my machine become like an F1 machine. It have the very noisy sound, and the test just run really slow. And there are also times when I run my test, I create the test automation script, which is nice, but it only can run in a certain browsers, but not on certain browsers. So you still need to manually test in others browser that you want to test. So to look at why does this happen and why, let's look back into the 3 decades of web and automations. So let's start with the 90s. In the 90s, that's when the web start introduced to the world. We have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and some browsers that we are not using today. I hope so. and Java introduced in 1996. And at this point of time, there's no testing, no browser automation inside, because mainly it's only for like documents purpose, so you only manual test it, and it works on only desktop, so you don't need to worry so much about others. And the next 10 years, it starts changing. We have more browsers in the scene, and we have Selenium, and so sometimes in 2004 and 5, there is finally 2 test solutions get introduced, which is the Selenium and WebDriver. You know, WebDriver doesn't even have an icon for that. And then the Web 2.0 is here. You can develop some really interactive experience with jQuery, and you can see those in YouTube and Google's Map. And slightly in 2008, iPhone and the first Android introduced to the world. And that's the point when we start to worry about, oh, testing on desktop, testing on the device, how it looks on the device, and we need to test cross browsers as well. So this is what happened in 2000, yeah. And Node.js introduced, like Chance mentioned just now, and it set the stage for the next 10 years. Okay, so as we know, a lot of JavaScript framework get introduced over the time, and Selenium and WebDriver combined become one project, which is Selenium WebDriver. And also at this point of time, since Node.js get introduced, you have the opportunity to do web development, use JavaScript for the backend as well. So there's a lot of needs to use JavaScript to write the tests as well, test automation as well, not just using it for the front-end applications. So there are solutions like Nightwatch.js, WebDriver, IO, Protractor get introduced over the time. And in 2018, WebDriver become a standard, web standard. It's the W3C now. And over the time, there are also others automation solution get introduced, like Phantom.js. Anyone use Phantom.js before or heard of it? Okay, you are my time, we are at the same time. And you have Cypress and Test Cafe. And shortly, you have Puppeteer and Playwright joining the scene. Okay, so at this point of time, we are focused on even faster release using JavaScript framework for automation, JavaScript framework for front-end development and automations. Okay, so this is to summarize. There are about 10 frameworks, or there are more testing frameworks around this time, but it dropped down to only 8. And to divide them into, like, behind the scene, there works kind of not that much of difference. So roughly, I can categorize into 3, which is automations with WebDriver Classic Protocol, automations with CDP, Chrome DevTools protocol, and using Web API and JavaScript to do automation right in the browsers. So roughly, these are the 3 categories, and we'll look into that, all of it today with demo. And you can say that WebDriver, the classic protocol, is conventional because it's standard. It's supported by all the cross browsers. And Chrome DevTools CDP and CDP is sort of not that standard because it's only work for Chromium browsers, and we'll look into that as well. Okay, so this is you. You are the developers. Let me try my awesome effect. So, okay, so this is you. You are the developer. You pick an automations tool and write the test script. So your automations tool will run your script in the browser through the protocols that it supports. So let's say, for example, in this case, we want to automate where you navigate to a page and click on the espresso. For WebDriver, Classic is web standard, as mentioned before. And you know that every time when the browser has new release, it needs to release the driver as well. So you have Chrome driver for Chromium-based browser, Gecko driver for Mozilla, and Safari and Edge. And this is how WebDriver Classic protocol works behind the scene. Your automations tool will talk to the middle person, which is the browser driver, and the browser driver will talk to the browsers. So it's something like this. Automation tools issue a WebDriver command via HTTP request, and the browser's driver will use its own ways to talk to the browsers for the automation. Now I will run a demo using WebDriver IO plus the Web REST API to see how it automates behind the scene. So the quicker way to run a WebDriver IO test script is that you can export it right from the browsers. So if you use Chrome DevTools, there's a recorder panel, which if you install a WebDriver IO plugin, you can record the step and export it as WebDriver IO test script. So when you export that, this is the script. It's nothing special. You will set the size for the browser's window, browse to a URL, and assert the URL which in the correct place, and then you click on the espresso element. So let's see how this works in the code. So this is exactly the WebDriver IO test script that I showed you just now, but I added 2 more lines here because I want to pause it. So when I run browser.debug means I pause the sessions, then I can do something with it. So let's run the test. Okay. Now when I run the test, oh, 0 pass, 1 fail. Let me run again. You know, every time when you do live demo, this is what happened. Okay, I think I have some issues with the, probably with the connection. Okay. Pardon? Line number 6. No, hold on. Let me try. After the selector. Okay. After espresso. Ah. Okay. Yeah. You know why? Because I just initially it's cappuccino, but I do not like cappuccino, so I changed it to espresso. That's why I missed out a bracket. Let's try it again. Oh no, this is a recorded session. Okay. Okay, still not working. Okay, let me check again. Shut down because of, okay. You know what? I will revert the code so we can run again. One more time. Sorry? Yeah, I think it's a Wi-Fi issue. So I will try to use my private hotspot. Yes, I still have some time, so I can make it work. Okay. Okay, I have a super pro. Okay, let's try this one more time. Okay, wait. It works in my local machine yesterday, just before I go online. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Okay, luckily I have some slides to talk through the changes. So what you can do is, your automations tool, when connect to the WebDriver, this is what exactly happens behind the scene. What I want to show you just now is I want to use the API to call a post command. So you send a HTTP post with this URL, and then you can sort of say that, hey, this is I want to navigate to the page, and you send another post command, say that you want to use CSS selector with this value, so that you can find the coffee element in the page. And the third one, if you want to click it, basically it's another RESTCOM API that you call to say click to click on the element. So this is what I want to show you, because like if you can see, like in real time, I call a URL and then it can resize the browser window. That would be nice, but never mind. I can show you later offline. Maybe it works after I disconnect it. Okay, and this is all fine. So the browser driver will talk to the browsers and give you back the result. But sometimes at the second point, it might be a little bit tricky, because when you find the coffee, because it's an API, some APIs is really slow, so you might not immediately get back the result. And because it's HTTP, each of these command is a HTTP, means that you need to do HTTP long pooling in order to know that if the espresso is ready on the screen and is clickable. So you do like, is espresso is loaded, is espresso is loaded. So this introduced some overhead, because HTTP is pool-based, and it is slower because each classic command requires HTTP handshake. Okay, let's talk about CDP. So the next way to automate it is CDP. So Chrome DevTools is using the CDP behind the scene to share the debugging information on your page. And Puppeteer Playwright as well, using similar. And not only that, for some of the test solution that is not CDP-based, they are also using CDP behind the scenes to support some of the Chromium-based features. So when you use Cypress or Test Cafe, you might see that some of the features only support for certain browsers. Now you understand why, because they use CDP to do so. And also, in fact, Chrome driver is using CDP under the hood as well. So when you're testing to use the WebDriver protocol, talk to the browser driver, the browser driver actually use CDP to talk to the browsers. With CDP, there's no middle person, there's no browser driver in the middle. Your automations tool issue command through CDP and control the browser using WebSocket. Let me show another demo on Puppeteer and DevTools. So in this demo, same, I export a JSON file from the recorder because it's quicker to start. And then this is the JSON file. So you have the type to set the viewport, navigate to the page, click on the element. Okay, now you need to install Puppeteer, Replay, and Puppeteer. And then you can run Replay and pass in a user flow or multiple JSON file to run it. Okay, let's try to run another demo. Okay, so in order when you run Puppeteer, if you want to see the protocol that runs behind the scene, you can add this command in front, debug equal to Puppeteer protocol send. So protocol have send and receive. So in this case, I only want to show you the send command. So let's run. I haven't prayed to demo God today. So it's, okay, yeah, no, okay. I just tested just now as well, okay. Let me try running one more time. Okay, yeah, I think it's the connection. Okay, never mind, but try it out because I have a REPL to show it. So once you run it, you can see like a lot of the command that shows on the screen. And if you want to see like the CDP in live, you can actually run it in the Chrome browser as well. So this is my browser. This is the third demo that I have today, the final demo. Let's see if it's worked. So a CDP command is quite simple. You have a command parameter field. And so for example, if I want to navigate to a certain page, I pass in this command called page navigate and set the URL to this URL. And I just need to JSON stringify it. And I can use a protocol monitor to run it. So protocol monitor, you can open it on the three dot and show up the protocol monitor. Let me just pause for a while. And I just copy this snippet in my clipboard. And let me start it. And I paste the command in. Okay. Why the connection doesn't work? Yeah, so it's the internet doesn't, yeah. Okay, let me run one more time. Okay, so the connection doesn't work. So when I run this command, you can see that just now, when it goes from about blank, when I run this command, it tried to navigate to the Coffee Netlify page. Okay. Yeah, sure. On the top.
You have a landline, so you should be able to have...
Okay. Can you increase my speaking time as well?
Of course.
To 5 more minutes?
Okay, I think we should be good. Is
Okay.
there some way that you can test it?
Yes, I can refresh this. No, it doesn't work. Okay.
Let's turn the Wi-Fi
Yay.
back on.
Okay. Wait.
Wi-Fi back on, and then I have a separate Wi-Fi for you.
Okay, you have a super Wi-Fi for me. Okay, don't tell them the password. Okay, let me just refresh the page. Okay.
Good luck.
Okay. Do you still want to see the WebDriver demo? Okay, cool. Okay. So if I run the WebDriver IO command, so let me uncomment this one. It's the network cable. Now I know. Okay. So after I run it, this is Firefox. I just want to show you that it runs in multiple pages. Yes. Okay. So what I do is I will copy the sessions ID and the port ID. So port ID is 619. And the sessions ID. When I paste it here, what I will do next is I will try to issue a command that I showed you just now, window rec, to resize the window. Okay. So I will run the request to resize the window. You see the window size changes. Yes. Okay, so let me set it back and run it again. So if I want to, click on an element, so for example, here now I want to click on cappuccino. I already have one cart item. So if I uncomment this code, the bracket is fine because it will auto heal it. Let's try. Okay, so if I run it, it should be able to add another cappuccino to the cart. So if you see that, now the cart have two items now, cappuccino and espresso. If I run it more and more, it will just add more items to the cart. So this is how browser automation works behind the scene. Yes! First demo. Okay. Okay, so this is the second demo. So when you run Puppeteer, if you run it, you see that once I put in the command, you can see all these Puppeteer protocol send command, and you can expand to see like what exactly the command that the framework sends to Chrome browser in order to control it. So the same command I want to show you in the browser itself is that if I go to a blank page and I run this page navigate command, it will navigate to the page. And if I want to click it, so in order to click Espresso, there's 2 steps for the automations. You need to be able to, you need to pass an event to mouse press it, and pass another event to release it. So let's copy this command. And then in the browser's protocol, let me clear it. You see, like every step that I do, it will start to record some actions. And then it only click mouse press on the Espresso now is selected. And I need to pass in another command. So let me copy it and run. And you can see that now 1 item is added to the cart. So this is how exactly browser automation works behind the scene. OK, I've done all my demo. Go. Now I have, yeah. So in summary, this is how it works. And the good thing about CDP is that since it's WebSocket based, it's bidirectional. The browser doesn't need to have a HTTP pooling for the automations to keep asking, like, is the Espresso ready? Can we click it? The browsers can just keep track on it, and when it's ready to click, it's just return back a command for that. So CDP is actually faster for real-time communications. But CDP only works for Chromium-based browser, and it can get very chatty. Like, for example, in my protocol monitor just now, you can see that a lot of command gets sending. Every click you have, it generates a lot of command back and forth because it is designed for debugging purpose, and it only evolved for browser automations. And why CDP is powerful? Because it supports a lot of low-level controls. You can simulate device mode, simulate geolocations, and intercept network requests. This is very important for you because you need to mock your HTTP request. Sometimes you need to be able to intercept and mock it in order for you to do testing. This is possible in CDP, not very possible in WebDriver. And today, I won't show others demo for Cypress and Test Cafe because I'm scared I will get failed again. Okay, but both of these, basically, they are using Web API and JavaScript to run the test in the browser itself. You can check out more from the link there. Okay, so how can we improve cross-browsers automation at the browser's level? If you look at WebDriver Classic Protocol and CDP, there are good things and not so good things between these. And if you take only the good things, that's why we have the 4th way. We introduced the 4th ways of automation protocol, which is called WebDriver BiDi. So imagine that in the future, this is the future that we imagine, not yet happens. You can issue command through WebDriver BiDi protocol. Your automations tool will take care of that. Whatever framework it is, it's used WebDriver BiDi protocol, and you get fast connections, issue command through WebSocket, and control wherever your favorite browser is, so it works truly cross browsers. And the vision is that it will get best cross-browser support, and it's a W3C standard. It will be fast because it supports bidirectional messaging. It provides lowest level of control, but with an ergonomic API that's built for testing. It is a work in progress. So who is behind this? So the protocol received contributions from Google's, Apple's, BrowserStack, Microsoft, Mozilla, and SourceLab. There's a talk on SourceLab later. So what it takes to implement a new protocol, when we say new protocol, right? Oh, sounds awesome. But what is it? So there are 3 things when we implement a new protocol. First, it needs to be have specifications. You need to have a verification process. You need to create a bunch of tests to make sure that this test can run cross-browser. So every browser have a way to test that this protocol actually works. And the last step is implementation. This is the current progress now. So surprisingly, Firefox support quite a lot of the tests, passed quite a lot of the tests already. Chrome and Edge is in good progress. Safari have some progress, have 1 and 1. Okay. So we hope that we'll have more progress soon. And another question, if I'm you, I would ask that, cool, but why should I care? What can I do? Because this is something, seems to be something that the work's done by the browsers and the automation libraries. True, that is, but if you care about the testing experience and open source governance, you want to make sure that whatever code that you are written, you have certain standard and it works cross-browser, you kind of want your favorite testing tools to adopt and help you better at your work. So I would say that try to use or try to urge your browser asking your favorite framework like, hey, are you supporting WebDriver BiDi? Or if you are planning to support it. And when the WebDriver BiDi get introduced in the frameworks, be an early adopter, test and implement that when it's ready. And you can share the project through social media. So that's all for the day. Thank you, and this is the slide link if you want, and you can ask me anything on Twitter and Mastodon. Thank you.